Raju sir. Center please.
Still please. Still please.
Vishnu.
Can you go the teams? If you have a question, please raise your hand, wait for your turn, and wait for the point. Questions related to IPL and basically tomorrow's match only. So we appreciate it. Who would like to go first?
Yeah, CSK have obviously playing very good cricket, and I suppose they won a number of those league games in the first qualifier, but coming into the final, I think it's all even, and both teams have a lot to play for, and I think both teams are really excited at the opportunity to play the final against one another, who have been competitive throughout the whole competition.
You have to repeat the question, sorry. Is given to you, irrespective of the past, how much you have achieved or what you have done as a team. So nothing really changes. The challenge this year was slightly different to the challenges that we have faced, over the past few years or last 7-8 years. The age group of the boys was definitely a concern. You keep them fit. A lot of times because of the frequency of the games, you have to maneuver your resources and you have to look at the bigger picture also. At times you may be pushed to say, okay, I feel this bowler needs to bowl, but if he's not 100% fit at that point of time, can you play with some other resources at that point of time? But that also depends on the point table and everything. It sounds very complex, but to make it very easy, we have to take care of the resources that we have and to make sure that when we come to the business end of the tournament, the best 11 is available for selection. And this year we have been able to do that. We did have a few injury concerns in the middle, but it's good to have all the players available for selection.
MS, how emotional this journey has been, considering the team has come back after 2 years into the IPL, and then it could not play at home, down and out before somebody emerged a hero and took the team home. So how emotional this whole experience has been?
Well, the emotional aspect was more at the start of the tournament, and once the tournament starts, you have to be more professional than emotional about it. Yes. We are a bit disappointed that we couldn't play matches in Chennai, but at the same time, I was still happy that at least one game happened in Chennai, because the fans were waiting for a very long time for this moment. And the last 2 years we were not there, but our fan following kept increasing, and the fans, they were waiting for us to come back and start doing well. So it's unfortunate that we are not playing in Chennai, but as I said, being professional is more important. And in a format like this, it's very important for individuals at some point of time to come up and take the game on their own. Yes, you want to contribute as a team, but it's always good if somebody has a very good game and takes the game away from the opposition. It just makes the job of other players slightly easy. If the batsman scores that at an extra 15-20 runs, it gives bowlers some time to maneuver around as to what is really needed from their end. And also, if you start well in the tournament, it gives bowlers and batters enough time to strengthen the areas that they need to work on, because it's a longish tournament and not a lot of the bowlers or the batsmen, they get to play T20 and come into T20 is slightly different. I always felt it was more difficult to get from Test cricket to T20 cricket. Going from T20 to Test was slightly more easy because you need to train your mind more than the body or the technical part. But once you come from Test cricket to T20, the situation demands a lot. You are actually pushed to play the big shot when you may not like to play it. So situation actually governs how you're playing at that point of time.
माही, आपके 8वां से फाइनल में आपकी टीम पहुंची है, लेकिन प्लेऑफ में जिस दिन आपका उस दिन मैच था, जो स्ट्रेटेजी थी, ये गेम किसी भी साइड हो रहा था, और ये फाइनल के लिए कुछ उसके लिए स्ट्रेटेजी आपने कुछ स्पेशल बनाई है क्या?
स्ट्रैटेजी तो आप फ्लेमिंग का है, ये बताता है स्ट्रैटेजी में जाके एग्जीक्यूट करता हूँ, so उससे जॉब थोड़ा इजी हो जाता है. He is the coach, he takes a big paycheck, so he does all the planning.
it for the two captains to answer. Why do you think leg spinners have had such a big impact this IPL?
You have the best leg spinners in the US.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a fairly consistent theme throughout a number of IPLs, and it's probably not just the skill set, but the quality of those leg spinners is very, very high. And obviously, there's left-hand, right-hand batsmen, and having the ability to take it away from both of those players on surfaces that offer a little bit of turn certainly is an asset to have. We're very fortunate to have Rashid Khan in our team, who's been outstanding throughout this whole campaign. And hopefully tomorrow night he can do it all again. But yeah, definitely an asset that every team looks for, I think.
I think also what happens is, if you see, most of the leg spinners who have been very successful are the ones who have got very good googlies. Because, you know, as a bowler you're supposed to bowl 24 deliveries, and whenever the batter is in, if a fresh batsman comes in, you know, he likes to take that time of, you know, really seeing the variation. It's not very often, you know, unless the wickets are really flat. He would like to see how much it's coming in. The thing with the leg spinners is the googly, you don't know how much it will turn. You know, sometimes it turns less, sometimes it turns a lot. So even when you're watching the wrist, a lot of times, you know, it turns out, it looks like a googly, but it's actually a top spinner. And also, if you miss a googly as a right-hand batsman, more often than not you're getting out, whether it's LBW or getting bowled. So I think batsmen, they like to take that extra time, and once it's really in their area, they like to play the big shot. So I feel that's one of the reasons why leg spinners are more successful, and also the fact that they get a bit of help from the wicket, irrespective of how the wicket is, they still get a bit of help. So being wrist spinners really helps.
I missed it. Throughout this season, there's been a lot of talk about the age of your players and all that. But now that you're in the final, is it? Do you feel fortunate that you have a lot of guys who won a lot of big finals, who played in a lot of big finals?
Experience really counts, but as you know, but definitely it's something that can't be replaced. Excess of everything is bad. You know, you can't have 15 players who are all experienced but all are 35 plus. The good thing is we have managed with them very well. We have got quite a few good fielders in the side. We are taking the burden of fielding. If you see, more often than not, one of the main positions is the deep mid-wicket position, because that's where a lot of double and the 3 runs happen. So your best fielders need to be there. So it's good that whenever we have played, we have at least have 2 very good fielders or outstanding fielders in the 11 that can man that position, and others have contributed, because a lot of times if you see in T20, even when you have very good fielders, more often than not, the captains are just saying, you know, hang on the circle, hang on the circle. You get a game here and there where you want to contain that single from happening, but if you talk about majority of games, you know, either the ball goes too fast to the fielder, so even if you have decent fielders, they just need to be on the safer side. Like when it comes to them, they don't drop those catches. Those are the most important things. But as I said, we have done well so far, and you know, it's something that can hurt us at any point of time. So far in the tournament, there have been moments where you may think, okay, you know, if you are slightly a better fielding side, it would have helped, but you know, you wait with the kind of experience that they have got, you know, I think it balances it out. But as I said, you know, fielding is important. If you can save 4 or 6 runs, you know, throughout when you're fielding, at the end of a high-scoring game, you know, what we have figured out is those 4 and 6 are the ones that can really make a big difference.
Yeah, Vishwanath here. I have a question each for Stephen and Tom. Tom, cricket, they say it's a batsman's game. Your captain scored a lot of runs. But how would you describe your bowling effort in the last 7 weeks? It's been incredible. And Stephen, 2 years with RPS, again going back to CSK, the shift, how did you manage it?
Yeah, I'm not sure I agree that cricket's or T20 cricket's batsman's game. I think we've seen over recent years bowlers have significant influences in T20 games and tournaments. Yes, generally the odds are stacked in favour of the batsman, given the nature of the game. But I think we've seen bowlers emerge over time to really challenge top orders. You only have to look at someone like Son on the Rhine, who's done it consistently for the whole of the IPL. He's really dominated as a bowler. But you know, with regards to our bowling attack, you know, they've done an excellent job. You know, there's no question about that. We've played on a number of varied wickets throughout the tournament, and we've managed to adjust pretty effectively, and a lot of it all goes down to Kane's leadership with regards to how he deploys those bowlers throughout the 20 overs, and we've managed to more often than not got it right.
Yes, the 2 years with RPSG were, from a professional point of view, were quite challenging but very good. Because we had had a good run with CSK, I won't say complacency at all, but we had a core group of players which meant that our patterns and our structure was very strong. To strip that away and start again while other teams were remaining intact was a great challenge for what we believed in, or certainly what I believed in, and MS as well, year one. So it was good from a professional point of view to add another layer to the coaching or the man management in IPL. You can get maybe a little bit blinkered as to ways of doing things, and to be introduced to another group of players, different conditions, I think has helped certainly me grow personally. From an emotional point of view, yes, great to be back with CSK, and great to be back and put those learnings into practice. So looking back over that experience, no, we wouldn't want it to happen. We would have liked to have rolled on and stayed the same. But now this year, putting those things into play has been, I think, quite a positive experience. And the other thing is you get a little bit complacent about some of the things that are good. And the grass is not always greener, so for the players who went away for a couple of years and can come back, they've also matured to some degree as well. So that's been a positive sign.
Yeah, Tom here. Yeah, just ahead of Bangalore match, you had said that it's a challenge fight with the way your bowlers have performed since you started playing outside.
Yeah, look, I'm more than happy we're playing a final tomorrow, and there's 6 other teams are. So, you know, I think those experiences of playing on some wickets that have been really flat have been really good for us. You can only perform on surfaces that are provided, and we have done that very well. We then came across a couple of surfaces that were quite different to what we had played a lot of our games on, and yes, we didn't get the results we wanted, but what we did do is we competed in every single one of those games. We didn't have an occasion this year where we were smashed up in any sort of game. We competed right to the end. Even that Bangalore game, you might remember, we needed 20 off the last over, and that very first ball of the over could have very easily gone for 6, and I think it probably would have sent a different result, and it would have been regarded as one of the best run chases of the tournament. So, you know, it's the fine line that this game presents. But the pleasing thing from certainly my perspective is we've competed and we've fought in every contest. Even last night, a lot of people probably thought after the 7th, 8th over we're out of the contest, but that was certainly not the mindset of the 11 players on the field.
Hi, my question is to Kane and Tom. Any before the final?
Handball. Oh look, I think we all can recall the last game we played, and it was one of those games we could have won that by 20 runs or lost it as we did. It was a remarkable comeback from CSK, so I think we got 90% of that game right, and you've got to give credit when it's due. Faf played a remarkable innings and showed his class and experience to be able to see it right to the end, but you know, I'm not sort of looking at areas that we need to tighten up. I think we just need to concentrate on our brand of cricket and make sure we bring that to the final tomorrow. And as long as we do that, I'm sure that we'll be competitive on the day.
Kane, a question for you. A couple of matches, especially last night. How confident are you about those slots because of those changes, assuming everybody is fit in the squad?
Yeah, there were a few changes. Obviously, Saha's injury had come right, but there wasn't a change in the balance, and I think that was the main thing. Is throughout the season we've maintained a very similar balance with guys in roles that we believe are very important to help this team play its best cricket. And and so when guys come in, there is that clarity. Yes, 3 changes makes life difficult at the toss, and you're reading out a number of names. But the guys all came in to contribute in those roles, and it was great that as a team we put out a really fighting performance, which is certainly what we expect of ourselves in our match last night. So tomorrow we've literally just arrived in Mumbai, and we'll be having conversations. But look, the team did fight really well as a unit, and we'll have to do it all again against a strong CSK side. We've played a number of times already, and they've all been fairly close affairs, albeit 3 fairly different matches as well. So an exciting opportunity for us as a franchise, and a great occasion all round.
My question to Kane. Kane, I remember before the start of the tournament we spoke about how one day you're thinking you're going to join the squad and the next day you're going to ask to captain it. How's this season been for you in that aspect? You've rallied around them. It's obviously a new kind of thing compared to last year. How's captaincy been for you in that sense?
Yeah, the captaincy obviously came about fairly suddenly, and it's been an enjoyable experience. I think as a franchise, obviously being involved for a few years prior, the team has changed quite a lot in some ways. I think there's 14 new players, and so it was something that was exciting to learn about myself and about a number of the guys in the team, different cultures, different parts of the world, and also work with Tom and the management here in a franchise sporting environment. So there was a lot of new aspects to it that I was looking forward to learning about, and so far the experience has been all of that, but there's been a lot of learning, a number of differences to some of the other leadership experiences that I've had. But look, it's great to be sitting here now with the Sunrisers in the final. So we are looking forward to the game tomorrow night, and yeah. But I would say the best part about it would be the growth of the team, and such a great bunch of fellas all sort of playing for that common cause, which is to try to see our side play our best cricket, and guys playing their roles as best they can to help the side win, and that's been a common trait. Now we come to tomorrow night, and it's all on the day, and anything can happen. But I think, as Tom said, our focus is very much about the cricket we want to play as a collective group, and we'll hang our hat on that.
Kane, taking on from there, is there any sort of pressure on carrying on with the Warner legacy? He won the title in 2016. Any sort of pressure to want to win it again?
Well, yeah, we want to win it. Yeah, I think they do too. Yeah, look, Davey's a big part of the franchise as a player, as a leader. Contributed so much in the last few years, and obviously as events unfolded, things changed pretty quickly. But as a team, it was important we gelled quickly together to try and start operating well as a unit on the park, but off the park as well. And that was very much a focus for us, for Tom and the management, to make sure that we would sort of move in that direction fairly quickly.
Last 3 questions.
My question to you is, how difficult is it to not give the ball to Harbhajan Singh, given he's a seasoned spinner? It happened in the last game.
A lot of cars and bikes in my house. And I don't ride all at a time.
What cars do you have?
Quite a few of them, more for biker, but I think a lot of times, especially when you have like 6 to 7 bowlers in the side, you want to see the condition, you want to see who's batting and what is needed at that point of time. I've always said it, even in the past, CSK, when we had Negi and Jadeja at the same time, I gave them different slots of bowling. And the unfair thing is, a lot of times the player actually gets criticized for what the batsman is doing. But one of the fact is, if I don't need somebody to bowl at one point of time, I may not bowl him. So I see what is in the best interest of the team, and according to the condition and the batsman, and according to the batsman's form, who has the best chance of succeeding against the batsman and giving less runs or getting him out. So those are the reasons that I always keep in mind, irrespective of the individual. But Manji is somebody who's really, really experienced when it comes to any format of cricket. So it's always tough, but again, as I said, I would do what is right at that point of time. So like in the last game, I didn't feel it was necessary for him to bowl, and I didn't bowl.
Last two. Yeah. My question is to Kane and MS. So many close games, so many uncapped players, young players coming forward and winning their teams. So do you think this will be the most exciting IPL till date, and how do you see young players coming and winning matches for the team? Do you see this is the best one till date?
Yeah, I think we've seen in pretty much every team. There's been a number of players that have had opportunities and grabbed those opportunities and been extremely exciting in terms of their talent, whether they're batters or bowlers. A number of sides have sort of unearthed a seam bowler that's taken the competition by storm to some extent, and also a batter as well. And I suppose there's been a lot of movement in teams. There's been guys that have been injured and or for some reason left out of the competition, which has, I guess, made teams look at other resources and give guys other opportunities, which has been fantastic, certainly for the growth of Indian cricket, to see the talent of the youngsters come in high pressured situations and perform so well. So it is great to see, and I think any team that would be sitting here would be thankful for the opportunities that some of those guys have had and the contributions that they've made.
I think also a lot of times it's unfair to compare because the memories of the current season is always fresh. So you always think, oh, this is the best. But I think every season of IPL has produced very good Indian domestic players, who have come up and who have done very well for their respective teams. So I won't say this is the best or that was the best. What is slightly different is this season we have seen a lot of Indian fast bowlers coming and playing consistently, and they have executed very well. So that is a big positive for Indian cricket. Their exposure to some of the top batters and how well they can execute and how quick can they bowl when it is needed and what line and length they can bowl. So that is the only thing that is slightly different. I felt all years of IPL has been very exciting. Sometimes the bottommost two teams have done so badly that the top six are in contention. Sometimes we have seen the top six teams, playing very hard to get into the qualifier. So I feel every year it has been like that. Maybe you will have 1 or 2 seasons, I don't know exactly what the facts are, but where before the last game all the teams had already qualified and it was not very interesting. This year also was as interesting as some of the other seasons, so that's the reason I wouldn't like to compare.
Last question. The two coaches, how did the team get used to how different is his captaincy from David Warner? And to Clem, how crucial has Amotiradu been to the team's journey into the
I think it's been an easy transition for the team, given that Kane's been part of the Sunrisers setup for a few years. So everyone that was with the team the previous year were very familiar with Kane as a person. And a lot of people sort of forget the fact that even though you don't have the title as a leader, Kane sort of naturally offered his leadership around the group, whether he was in the playing 11 or not in the playing 11. And I certainly know that David Warner relied on him a lot with his advice, whether it be on match day or out of game time. So given that was the history, the actual transition was a very smooth transition. And as Kane highlighted, it was just a case of him adapting to a new environment to captain, and the IPL is a unique environment, and he's done that like duck to water.
Ryder's been very good. He's been one of a number of players that have contributed to match-winning performances. We've had a few. He was somewhat written off, I guess, as most of our team were at the start of at the end of the auction. So to see him get some game time and grow in confidence, and the way in which he's done it is very rewarding from a coach and I guess an auction point of view. But he's been one of a number, and that's been probably a characteristic of our campaign, that when needed there's been players stand up. Faf was the last example, but there have been others all the way through. So the load has been shared. You had the usual culprit beside me for a number of times, but the load really has been shared throughout the tournament. And I guess teams win competitions, but individuals can win finals. So we're looking again for that match-winning performance. And it's going to have to come because the opposition are very good. We've seen that in all of our occasions against them and again last night. So they've got some real threats that we have to nullify, just as we've got some threats that they'll be working on side. It's a great final and the players like Raidu are looking forward to one more performance, and that's the exciting part about this part of the tournament, that one player can shift a game. So one player last night for Sunrisers had a huge impact. So unfortunately he won't probably be able to do it tomorrow because he's back up and do it twice in a row. It's tough. But look, he's capable of doing that as a number of players are. So that's the beauty of this part of the tournament, and I think as the boys said, we're just delighted to be part of it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.